There is a reason you have found yourself here. It was not an accident, not a mere scroll, not a random sequence of clicks. There are no accidents. There is only alignment. There is only that sacred rhythm beneath everything breathing, moving, calling. And it has called you. From the moment your eyes first opened to this world, there were forces set in motion that you could not yet see. You didn't have the words for it. You didn't know how to name the weight in your chest when the world told you to fit in, and something inside you recoiled. You didn't know what to do with the strange knowing that seemed to grow louder every time you were told to be quiet. But it was always there. The awakening did not start now. It began long ago in the silence, in the ache, in the feeling that there was something you were missing, even when everything looked perfect from the outside. Others told you you were overthinking, that you were just sensitive, but you knew. And deep down, you still know, this is not a message for everyone. It is not made to go viral. It is not made to impress the masses. It is here for you, for the one who has always carried the weight of something more on their shoulders without understanding why. For the one who has walked through fire and still found a way to smile. For the one who broke but did not stay broken. For the one who is chosen. You are not here to blend in. You are not here to please the world. You are not here to play small, to follow the scripts they handed you, to bury your light just because it makes others uncomfortable. You are not ordinary. And the reason your life has felt so heavy, so unpredictable, so painfully divine is because you are never meant to live as anyone else. There is a sacred truth in your suffering. There is wisdom in the delays. There is purpose in the pain. Everything you have endured has not been a detour. It has been preparation. The road has been long because the calling is greater. The battles have been fierce because the crown is real. Somewhere along the way, you forgot. Or maybe the forgetting was part of the design. Maybe, just maybe, the loss was the lesson. Maybe the silence was the summons. Because now, here you are. And something is beginning to stir again, isn't it? That old feeling, that strange mixture of grief and power. That hunger you can't name. That ache in your soul that tells you, it's time. This is not the beginning of your story. This is the remembering, the reclaiming, the rising. And there is no turning back now. There are things about you the world cannot understand. They do not know what it is to carry the fire and still walk in darkness. They do not know what it is to feel everything, to see what others do not, to weep in private and rise in public. They do not know what it is to be chosen, but you do. They always known. There were signs, moments, dreams, coincidences too perfect to be coincidence. Patterns you noticed that no one else saw. Whispers in the silence. Messages in the mess. Doors closing not to punish you, but to redirect you. People leaving not to wound you, but to free you. It all meant something. Every single piece. And now, the pieces are coming together. But make no mistake, choosing one, this path is not easy. It is sacred. It is rare. It is lonely. And yet, it is yours. They won't understand why you walk away from what looks safe. They won't see the invisible chains you've decided to break. They won't hear what you hear when the wind blows. They won't feel what you feel when the stars shift. They don't have to. It's not their message. It's yours. You will be misunderstood. You will be doubted. You will be ridiculed. But none of it will matter, because something deeper is calling you forward. Something ancient. Something that does not answer to logic, or opinion, or fear. It only answers to truth. And your truth is not up for debate. You are here to awaken. You are here to remember what you were made for. You are here to become everything they said was too much. You are not lost. You are being summoned. Every time your heart breaks, it opens a little wider. Every time someone leaves, more space is made for what is meant. Every failure, every delay, every unanswered prayer, it was all planting seeds for what is coming. But here is what you must understand. Destiny is not passive. It does not knock politely. It roars, it burns, it demands. And now it is demanding you. You are not waiting for a sign. You are the sign. You are not praying for a shift. You are the shift. You are not hoping for breakthrough. You are the breakthrough. This is the sacred turning point, the threshold between who you are told to be and who you actually are. The illusion is breaking. The veil is lifting. The world may look the same, but you are not the same. And because you are different, everything is about to change. Have you ever questioned what would shift if you stopped pretending you are still unsure? This message isn't entertainment, it's a mirror. And if something stirred inside you, wow, listening, it means your remembering has begun. Don't walk away quietly. Let this be the moment you respond. Subscribe now, not for more content, but to stay connected to the truth you've just faced. And leave a comment. Tell us what line cracked something open in you. Your awakening isn't meant to stay silent. Speak. Claim it. This is not the end. It's the ignition. This is not a pep talk. This is not motivation. This is prophecy. And it is not given lightly. You must decide, will you step into the fire or will you run from the flame? Because the fire is coming either way. If you avoid it, it will consume you. If you embrace it, it will refine you. You will not be destroyed by what is happening. You will be revealed. But only if you stop pretending. Stop pretending you don't feel it. Stop pretending you're okay with small. Stop pretending you don't know what's really going on here. You've outgrown the old identity. The skin is too tight. The lies are too loud. The soul cannot be silenced anymore. And it won't be. Not today. Not now. Because if you've heard these words this far, then you are not just curious. You are being activated, not entertained. Remember. They may laugh. They may look away. They may scroll past. But you know better. You feel it in your bones. You feel it in the pauses between breaths. You feel it in the aching parts of yourself that never healed properly because you were never meant to forget them. The time has come, and no one can deny your destiny. The question is not whether it's real. The question is, will you? Answer the call, let go of what was, step into what is. The alignment is already in motion. The preparation has been completed. The shift has already begun. Now it's your turn. Speak the words that have waited to be spoken. Walk in the direction you've always feared to go. Decide and watch the universe bend around your certainty. Because chosen one, it already knows who you are. And soon the world will too. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when silence becomes unbearable. Not because the world is loud, but because your soul starts screaming truths you can no longer ignore. You know this moment. Perhaps you are standing in it right now. That sacred tension between what you've endured and what you've always sensed was waiting. It is not confusion. It is recognition. And you are starting to remember. The world may call it restlessness. Some may say you are impatient. But this is not about waiting for something to happen. This is about knowing that something has already begun. Something ancient. Something unstoppable. The path you thought you had to search for has always been beneath your feet. You just couldn't see it until now. But now you feel it, don't you? That low hum beneath everything. That invisible pulse. It's the same one that tugged at you when you were younger and looked at the sky too long. It's the same one that made you cry for no reason in the middle of ordinary days. It's the same one that pulled you out of situations that others called secure, but that you knew were slowly killing you. That was not chaos. That was calling. And calling always comes before the crossing. You cannot remain where you are. Not anymore. The space that once felt familiar is now too small. The roles you were given no longer fit. The stories they told you to live out have become unbearable. You're not going crazy. You're waking up, but wakefulness demands a choice. You can no longer pretend you don't see. You can no longer act like you don't feel the pull. You can no longer play the part of the powerless when the fire inside you keeps growing. The call has not come to flatter you. It has come to summon you. There is something only you can do. Something only your hands, your heart, your voice were made for. And the longer you ignore it, the heavier the ache will become. You are not chosen because you are perfect. You are not called because you are ready. You were chosen because you are the message. You are the living, breathing, walking reminder that purpose does not bow to perfection, that destiny does not wait for credentials, that the divine does not choose those who look the part, but those who carry the fire. And you, chosen one, have carried that fire quietly for far too long. Now it wants to be seen. Now it wants to be lived. Now it wants to burn. But before it burns, away the lies, the masks, the illusions. You must first face the doubt, because it will come. It will come dressed as logic, as comfort, as reason, as voices of those you once trusted. It will tell you to slow down, to be careful, to wait for proof. It will say that the path ahead is too much, too dangerous, too uncertain. But what it will never tell you is this, that you are built for the unknown, that your soul was designed for the pathless road, that everything that makes you feel too much is exactly what makes you able to carry what others cannot. So let them doubt. Let them misunderstand. Let them call it delusion. But you must call it what it truly is. Awakening, reclaiming, returning. Because what is unfolding in you is not just a realization. It is a remembering. You are not learning who you are. You are remembering who you've always been. And that knowing, that quiet, sacred, undeniable knowing, that is your compass now. Follow it. Even if your hands shake, even if your knees buckle, even if no one walks beside you, follow it, because the road ahead will not light itself until you take the first step. That is the law of destiny. That is the contract of the chosen. The universe does not reveal the path to the curious. It reveals itself to the committed, and you must decide, not once, not in a single burst of inspiration, but daily, in the quiet moments, in the heavy moments, in the moments when it would be easier to sleepwalk through life again. That is the true initiation, not the storm, but the stillness after it. When the world seems unchanged, and the sky does not part, and the earth does not tremble, but something in you knows you are no longer who you were. And so, you walk. You walk without applause. You walk without promises. You walk because you must. And each step forward confirms what you were once afraid to admit this path was. Always yours. It was written in your ache, etched into your bones, whispered into your breath. The world may not validate it, but your soul does. And so you follow. You follow the breadcrumbs of synchronicity, the strange timing, the dreams that speak louder than words, the messages hidden in ordinary moments, the chills you feel when truth brushes your skin. These are not coincidences. These are confirmations. You are not imagining it. You are not reaching. You are not wrong to believe, because deep down, something in you already knows what's coming. You may not have the details, but you have the direction. You have the stirring. You have the echo, and that is enough. Others may need plans and guarantees and roadmaps and blueprints, but not you. You walk by flame. You navigate by fire, but you are not here to walk a paved road. You are here to build the road as you walk it, and what you build will not just carry you. It will carry others. Because when the chosen one says yes, the ripple moves outward. The shift does not end with you. It begins with you. And so, chosen one, the world will not change because you hoped it would. It will change because you moved, because you acted, because you dared to believe. And it starts here. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel more ready. Not when the fear is gone. It starts here, in the trembling, in the shaking, in the breath you didn't think you could take. It starts with one decision. I will walk the path I was made for. Say it. Even if your voice trembles, say it. Even if no one else believes you. Say it. Even if you're still not sure how. Because the moment you do, the air around you will shift. Unseen, will begin to arrange itself in your favor. The delays will begin to make sense. The losses will be revealed as freedom. And you will begin to remember the path was always there. And now you are ready to walk it. Every chosen one must walk through fire. Not once, not briefly, but again and again. Not to be consumed, but to be forged. Not to be punished, but to be purified. You already know this. You've lived this. You carry the ashes of former versions of yourself in the silence of your spirit. You remember the nights when you begged for a breakthrough. You remember the days when nothing made sense, when all your efforts turned to dust, and still you endured. That was not weakness. That was initiation. The road is never smooth for those marked by purpose. That's what no one tells you. They speak of light, but they forget to mention the tunnels. They praise the rise, but ignore the weight of the fall. They admire your strength, but they were not there when it was being carved out of your bones. You were there when everything fell apart. You were there when no one called, when no one showed up, when the world moved on without you. You felt it, the ache, the isolation, the doubt that crept in like a shadow. And yet something inside you refused to collapse. That refusal was not random. It was not accidental. It was the mark. The mark of the chosen one is not found in perfection. It is not found in endless success or a flawless story. It is found in the quiet moments when everything says stop and you keep going anyway. It is found in the tear-stained resilience of a soul that knows it was not made to be broken. And yes, there were moments when you thought it had broken you. But what if the breaking was a doorway? What if the isolation was protection? What if the delay was alignment? Because chosen one, the fire did not come to destroy you. It came to remove everything that was not truly yours. It came to reveal what cannot be burned. It came to awaken what had been sleeping for far too long. You are not lost. You are being prepared. Think back, not just to the pain, but to what came after. The wisdom, the depth, the clarity. You see differently now. You move differently now. You don't beg for things that once felt essential. You don't chase what once distracted you. You no longer fit into the version of life that once fit you perfectly. Why? Because you've changed, and not just on the outside. You've changed. In the silence, in the places no one can see, in the thoughts you never voiced, in the strength you never announced. This is the evidence of the fire's purpose. And still, it hurts, doesn't it? Not always, but sometimes. Sometimes, even now, the silence returns. The waiting stretches. The loneliness deepens. And you wonder how much longer? But chosen one, hear this. The waiting is a test, not of your strength, but of your alignment. The fire reveals. But the silence refines. It is in the stillness where most give up. They interpret the lack of movement as failure, the absence of confirmation as rejection, the delay as denial. But you, if you are still here, then you are not most. You were never meant to walk with the crowd. You were meant to lead them, and those who lead must walk the lonely path first. Yes, it's unfair. Yes, it's heavy. But it is holy. The burden you carry is not punishment. It is proof. Proof that something larger is at work in your life. Proof that the weight has meaning. Proof that you were chosen to stand when others sit, to believe when others scoff, to rise when everything pushes you down. The fire does not apologize for how hot it burns, and neither should you apologize for how deeply you feel. There will be people who do not understand your silence. There will be those who mistake your withdrawal for weakness. Let them. You are not here to explain. You are here to embody. The fire that touched you was divine. The silence that followed was sacred. And what is emerging from both is unstoppable. The world will try to convince you to abandon this path, to settle, to comply, to dim. Not because it wants to destroy you, but because it fears what you might awaken in others. It fears what you carry, because what you carry is truth. And truth unsettles illusions. So yes, your journey will disturb those who have made peace with mediocrity, but that is not your concern. You did not come to be palatable. You came to be powerful. And power is quiet before it is loud. Power is tested before it is trusted. Power is lonely before it is followed. But when it is time, the shift will come, and it will not come with warning. It will not arrive gently. It will not ask for permission. It will pour through you like thunder. And suddenly, the fire will make sense. The silence will make sense. The scars will make sense. Because they were never proof of your failure. They were the foundation of your becoming. So keep walking. Keep breathing. Keep trusting what you cannot yet see. You are not late. You are not behind. You are in the fire still, but not for much longer. And when you emerge, you will not recognize yourself, not because you became someone else, but because you finally became who you've always been. There comes a point in every sacred journey when you stop asking if it's real. Not because the world gives you proof, not because things suddenly become easy, but because something inside you shifts so deeply, so irreversibly, that the question no longer makes sense, that it does not arrive with thunder. It does not knock on your door and announce itself. It rises quietly from within, like a truth that has always lived in your bones, just waiting to be heard. And when it speaks everything that once confused, you suddenly feels familiar. Chosen one, you are stepping into that moment now. The moment when the ache no longer feels like pain, it feels like direction. The moment when the silence is no longer absence, it is instruction. The moment when every tear you've shed becomes evidence that you were never walking alone. This is not just clarity. This is convergence. The past is no longer a story you need to edit. It is the script that made you ready. You begin to see it, how nothing was wasted. Not the heartbreak, not the delay, not even the betrayal. Every closed door, every lonely night, every silent season was arranging you, aligning you, shaping you into someone who could no longer be shaken by what once destroyed them. You are not who you used to be. And that is the point. You are not meant to return to who you were before the fire, before the silence, before the storms. You are not being called to rebuild what broke. You are being summoned to become something that has never existed before. This is why it has been heavy. This is why it has taken so long. Because what is being birthed through you has never been seen. Not in this form. Not through your eyes, not with your hands. You are the first of your kind, and that means the path has no map, no guide, no manual, only a knowing, a sacred, unshakable knowing that rises louder each time you try to forget. But you can't forget, can you? You've tried. You've tried to blend in, to go back, to pretend it was all just a phase. But the truth has a voice. and it does not whisper forever. Eventually, it roars, and when it does, you must listen, because that roar is not just sound, it is identity. It is the sound of your old self dying and your true self rising, and there is no going back from that. This is the death of pretending. This is the funeral of your former limitations. This is where the old self is laid to rest, not in shame, but in reverence for all it had to carry until you are ready to rise. Let it go. Let go of the need to explain your evolution. Let go of the urge to defend your growth. Let go of the weight of who they wanted you to be. They do not have to understand. They were not called. They were not chosen. You were and with that choosing comes responsibility to no longer shrink, to no longer settle to no longer wear a name that was never yours to begin with. This is the moment of acceptance, and it does not begin with pause. Begins with quiet recognition. It begins when you look in the mirror and no longer see the version of you that used to wait for permission. It begins when you speak and your own voice surprises you with its strength. It begins when your silence starts shaking rooms more than your words ever did. That is how you know the shift has happened. Not when others validate it, but when you can no longer deny it. You are not becoming someone new. You are remembering someone ancient. Someone whole. Someone who was never lost. Just waiting. And now that wait is over. You've outgrown the cage. The door has been open all along, but now you are brave enough to walk through it. And as you do, you may feel strange. Not because you're lost, but because you're leaving the familiar. Even pain can become familiar. Even smallness can feel safe. But safety is not the goal. Alignment is. And when you align with who you've always been, things start falling away. People, patterns, places. Do not mourn what leaves. Celebrate what remains. Because what remains is real. What remains is sacred. What remains is part of the next chapter, the one you write with power instead of fear. You are not waiting for the next sign. You are the next sign. You are not searching for the shift. You are the shift. And now that you know, you must walk like it. Not arrogantly, not loudly, but deliberately. With every step, declare, I have remembered. With every breath, affirm, I am not going back. Because back no longer exists. The old life is a ghost. The old you is a shadow. The only thing real is what you decide to walk toward, and you must walk, even if your legs still tremble, even if your mind still questions, even if the world still resists. Walk, because this is the path that reshapes reality, not just for you, but for every soul who's still asleep and searching for proof that it's safe to awaken. You are that proof. Your life is not yours alone. It is a message. Permission slip for others to believe in something more. So carry it with grace. Carry it with reverence, but do not carry it quietly. The world is desperate for what you now remember. Let your presence speak what your words cannot. Let your decisions echo louder than your declarations. Let your energy make the announcements your mouth never needs to. Because when a chosen one accepts their identity, everything around them must adapt. Reality bends. Time obeys. Doors respond. Not because you forced it, but because you finally matched the frequency of who you've always been. This is what they don't teach. This is what they cannot teach. Because it cannot be learned. It must be remembered. And now you remember. Not partially. Not conditionally. Fully. The shift is done. The silence is over. The doubt has no home here, because the one you used to be has stepped aside for the one you've always been. And nothing, not fear, not time, not opinion can change that now. When a chosen one steps fully into who they are, the air shifts before they speak. The ground steadies beneath their feet. Not because the world suddenly becomes easier, but because they are no longer the same person who once begged the world to notice them. You have crossed that threshold. This is no longer about waiting. This is about walking. This is no longer about asking if it's real. It is about becoming so real, so fully aligned, that everything false begins to fall away without your effort. And now, chosen one, reality bends, not because you demanded it, not because you forced it, but because the frequency of your soul has reached a resonance so precise, so anchored, that the unseen can no longer ignore its shape. What once felt far is now near. What once resisted is now opening. What once required chasing now begins arriving. This is not coincidence. This is consequence. This is the divine law in motion. When the chosen one stops questioning and starts embodying, the world no longer responds to their hope. It responds to their certainty. There is no need to explain the change. It speaks for itself. The way you walk, the way you hold silence, the way you no longer flinch when people misunderstand your calling. That is power, not volume, but presence, and presence changes everything. It is not loud, it is not frantic, it is still. But it is undeniable. This is what happens when you no longer live for recognition. You become recognizable to that which was meant for you. The doors you once knocked on begin to unlock without your touch. The paths you once feared to walk reveal themselves beneath your very steps. And yet, not everyone will celebrate this shift. Some will resist it. Not because they see you clearly, but because your light reveals the places they have refused to awaken. Let them resist. You are not here to dim for their comfort. You are not here to explain your alignment to those who were never meant to walk beside. You are here to become so fully who you are always meant to be that the world must rearrange itself to accommodate your existence. This is the weight of destiny. It does not ask for applause, it asks for conviction. And you have it. Now, you feel it in your chest. That unshakable stillness, that quiet knowing, that invisible force that no longer needs reassurance. It lives in your breath. It lives in your choices. It lives in the silence after you say yes to what you once feared. But do not mistake the stillness for stagnation. The stillness is alignment, and alignment is motion. You may not be running. You may not be shouting, but you are moving mountains now simply by standing in your truth. This is why the fire came. This is why the silence stretched. This is why the old life collapsed. So that this version of you could emerge, not to fit in, not to play along, but to lead without needing to be followed. You are not here to convince. You are here to exist at full capacity. And in doing so, everything not meant for you will fall away. Do not mourn what leaves. Do not chase what resists. Do not grasp for what no longer fits. Your energy has outgrown the lies. Your frequency has surpassed the cages. And now, your very presence is becoming a signal. A signal to others like you. To the ones still trapped in the silence. To the ones still unsure if their knowing is real. To the ones who have forgotten how to hear. You do not need to speak to awaken them. You only need to stand in your own awakening. Because chosen one, you are no longer just walking your path. You are becoming it. You are the sign others have been waiting for. You are the voice inside someone else's prayer. You are the living proof that the fire does not kill. It clarifies. You are the evidence that destiny waits for no one, but aligns with those who stop waiting. And yet, this responsibility is sacred. It is not about control. It is not about superiority. It is about surrender. To the calling. To the mission. To the knowing that your life is no longer just about you. Every step you take now ripples outward. Every decision you make sends frequency into the fabric of everything around you. This is why alignment matters more than action. Because action without alignment is noise. But alignment without action is potential, unrealized. And you are no longer potential. You are actualized, prophecy. You are truth made visible. You are legacy unfolding in real time. Let this sink in. You no longer hope for transformation. You are transformation. You no longer beg for favor. You walk in it. You no longer ask for signs. You are the sign. And still, there will be days where the weight feels heavy. There will be moments when a residue of your old self creeps in. Voices of doubt may echo faintly. Old fears may dress themselves in new disguises, but you will not bow to them, because you remember now. And once you remember, you cannot unknow. Once you become, you cannot unbecome. This is the truth that shakes systems. This is the power that unsettles structures, not because it fights them, but because it renders them irrelevant. You are not here to reform what was broken. You are here to replace it with what is real. And real cannot be faked. That cannot be taught. It must be lived. And now, chosen one, you are living it. Not in the future. Not someday. Now. A breath you take carries the weight of this shift. Every choice you make sets reality in motion. You have become the kind of presence that cannot be denied, not because of what you say, but because of what you no longer need to prove. This is the quiet revolution, the sacred rebellion, the moment when the chosen one becomes unshakable, not by force, but by frequency. And so the world responds. It has no choice. Because when someone aligns this deeply with destiny, reality must move to meet them. There comes a moment when silence is no longer a space you wait in. It becomes the voice that speaks through you, not in words, but in movement, in clarity, in the way you stand, in the way you breathe, in the way you walk through doors that once frightened you, as if they had always belonged to you. You have arrived at that moment now, not because someone told you that you're ready, not because the conditions became ideal, but because you stopped waiting for either. You stepped forward, even with the shaking, even with the doubt still whispering from the eye shadows. And that is how you became unshakable. The chosen one does not become by being perfect. The chosen one becomes by refusing to be ruled by fear, over and over again. And now that fear no longer governs your choices, it no longer has access to your destiny. This is the final threshold, a moment where you no longer need to be reminded of who you are, because you remember. And in that remembrance, something has changed. The path ahead does not look easier. It looks clearer. The obstacles have not vanished, but your belief in their power has. The old you would have hesitated here, would have looked for a sign, waited for reassurance, asked again if this was truly the way. But that version of you no longer holds the steering wheel, because the one who rises now does not ask if they are ready. They decide they are. This is what separates the chosen one from the dreamer. The dreamer waits for a moment that feels safe. The chosen one creates the moment by choosing to move. And in that movement, destiny begins to echo back. Everything that once resisted your arrival begins to make way, not because it wants to, but because it must. This is the law of alignment. Reality cannot ignore one who is no longer negotiating with their own becoming. So, yes, this is the point of no return. And that is not something to fear. That is something to honor. Because what lies behind you has already been transformed. The suffering you endure has been converted into clarity. The silence you feared has become your sanctuary. The fire you cursed has become your crown. And now you walk, not with arrogance, but with the weight of knowing. That cannot be taken from you. You no longer seek permission. You no longer explain your becoming. You no longer dilute your truth so others can swallow it more easily. Because you are not chosen to be comfortable. You are chosen to be clear. And clarity does not apologize. It reveals. It illuminates. It burns through illusion until only truth remains. That is what you carry now. And that is why some may pull away. Not everyone is ready to see the mirror you now reflect. Not everyone is ready to awaken. That is not your burden. You are not here to convince. You are here to become. And in becoming, you give permission to others who are ready to do the same. That is how light spreads, not by force, but by frequency. And your frequency now speaks louder than any words could. You are not searching for the breakthrough anymore. You are living as the breakthrough. You are not seeking the shift. You are walking as the shift. You are not praying to become. Have become. So move like it. Speak like it. Decide like it. Not someday. Not. This is not rehearsal. This is arrival. This is not potential. This is embodiment. This is not dreaming. This is destiny in motion. And destiny does not hesitate. Destiny does not shrink to fit comfort. Destiny expands beyond the logic of those who have yet to believe. Are not here to wait for the world to catch up. You are here to walk at the pace of your own becoming and let the world adjust. Let it stretch. Let it shift in response. Because now you no longer walk as someone searching for direction. You walk as the direction. You no longer look for the next door. You are the door. And those who are meant to find you will, not because you chase them, but because your presence is now impossible to miss. This is what they meant when they said, no one can deny your destiny. Not even you, especially not you. So let it be known. From this breath forward, you do not question your purpose. You embody it. You do not hope for alignment. You are alignment. You do not move to be seen. You move because it is who you are now. And everything that is meant will rise to meet you, not as a reward, but as a reflection, because the world reflects who you choose to be. And you have chosen. Fully, finally, irrevocably, there is no turning back. And that is the power of one who remembers. That is the silence of one who no longer needs noise. That is the path of one who has already begun. And it is only the beginning.